Oh, another day, another Pokemon problem. Here we go. We're going to be talking today about CT scanning Pokemon cards, what you really should know about it, and is it cost effective? Alright, like I said, guys, just give it 10 minutes and there's another Pokemon product. Whether it's a scam, an issue, a problem, whatever it is, we always find something in this hobby to sometimes make a lot of concern for yourself. And today we're going to be talking about that. But before we get too far into depth into the video about the Pokemon CT scanning and actually scanning Pokemon products, let's take a look at what we actually have when you're talking about CT scanning. Now, I've been around CT scanning. This isn't something new. Being a machinist by trade, working in the aerospace industry, we had these actual inspection machines inside of our machining facilities because we did send things to Ball Industry, and of course they are an aerospace manufacturer, so we used to manufacture aerospace products and parts for them. So we had to have a CT scanner in order to be able to send them off. That's just standard practice for some of the components that we were creating, was requirements to have them scanned and be sure that there were no, number one, inclusions, cracks, or fractures inside of the part before they left our facility, and they had to be sent with the CT scan with those particular parts, a file of that scan, so that they could also verify that they were done that way. Trust me, it's standard industry practice. CT scanners have been out there for a long period of time. They've been used in inspection processes and machining. They've been used, of course, in the human body and medical and a lot of other processes that are out there to really help out humans and being able to see what's inside that we can't see. As a machinist, I can't see through pure metal, so the only way to know if there's inclusions or voids, air pockets, fractures, cracks is with CT scanning. It's been done for a long period of time. It's a great way to do it. So a little bit of background. I did contact an inspection person that actually used these CT scanners where I used to work, because I was really curious to know how many machines are out there. What kind of capability would you need in order to be able to see this kind of detail in these with a CT scan into packs and into booster boxes and bundles and whatever you're trying to be scanning ETBs. And after talking to him a little bit, he said that you could probably do it with a big array of them. The number one thing you have to look at when you're looking at these particular items is, number one, what their target ranges are. So basically when it's cutting, it makes slices. How small can it do slices? The slicing is a big deal. How tight you can make those slices determines how much you can see. There are cheaper CTs that only do like 1 millimeter slices. There are really fine machines, such as that Nikon that you see industrial using industrial inspection, and that's why I figured this was an inspection machine. Second, I saw Nikon, because that's the exact same one that we used in our machining facility, was that exact type, that Nikon version of the CT scanner for actually doing aerospace parts, and it was almost the exact same one. You can almost stand in it, set the part, had a really big table that you could set things in and be able to see inside of them. And when it comes down to the Pokemon packs, he said there'd be a variety of things you'd have to really look at when you're looking at the machine. Of course, the Nikon is going to give you a fantastic view. He said really tight layers. You can get really small and deep. You can really get into the details of these particular parts and inside of those packs, and you can almost slice it down to 1,000 or hundreds of thousands of slices through that pack and really be able to compile that together and look frame by frame like you were seeing in order to be able to see what's inside of those packs. Now, he said typically not all are going to be able to do that. He said, you know, you're going to sit there and see people saying they can do those cheap machines. Realistically, the cheap machines are going to be very luck driven, because you're not going to be able to get down to them tiny little slices. So even like a human body, they don't do really tight slices. They actually do fairly large slices because there are large areas and you can see a large amount of detail even with doing fairly thicker slices even in a human body. So he said it really just depends on the machine that they're using. Of course, industrial, I showed him the video of that. Industrial is using a Nikon. That's, I said, exactly what he's using, and he said this thing can cut down to really tiny proportions. Just depends on how much time you want to spend really getting into the nitty-gritty details of these particular items. He said you can get really fine-tuned into these things and really find things that you're looking for. So what does that mean for Pokemon packs? Well, after going through it and talking to him, he said that realistically the machines that you're looking at that are capable of really breaking this down without luck, you're probably looking at about $85,000 for that machine. Let's just be 100% clear. And you're going to see titles like this one next to me where they're talking about $1,500 per machine. Well, number one, this person bought a used machine that was not working at all for $1,500. They put about another $5,000 to $6,000 into repairing it for $7,500. And even he said, looking at what the details are from what he could tell by the pictures of that machine that was built, he said it's probably not going to give him the detail. Yeah, if he sits there and moves it and changes and does things over and over and over again, chances are with time he would be able to find details of a booster pack or a booster box, but in general it's going to be very difficult to pull it off with that type of equipment. It's just not designed to do that. So once again, you're looking at some very high-ranged equipment in order to be able to pull this off. Now, the one question you have when it comes down to CTing into Pokemon packs, is this going to be the future of the Pokemon TCG? Well, as of today, probably not. As of tomorrow, still not very likely, I don't feel, but maybe futuristically as price comes down, it could become more common. I think that there's more value in this, maybe into some sports hobbies and some of those really high-end sports collectibles, especially when you're going back for like those Mickey Mantle packs that might be sitting out there. You don't want to open them because they're already really expensive packs, and if you open it and there's no Mickey Mantle card in it, then they become worthless, and nobody wants to take that chance. But the CT scanner might give them the opportunity to find that. So if you're looking at a $100,000 pack of, I'm just throwing a number out there, don't come in the comments and go keyboard warrior on me and say, oh my god, there's no $100,000 baseball packs. I don't know. I'm just using it that I know sports has a lot more money invested in the packs and the singles, into the actual cards, than anything in the Pokemon TCG. So when it comes down to value, I could see that value in the sports card arena more than I could see it in the Pokemon arena. Now, even if we take a look, and let's just talk about a base set first edition pack. Yes, a very expensive pack in the Pokemon scheme of things. Not very expensive compared to sports cards. But even so, if you're going to sit there and say you're going after that Charizard, first edition Charizard, if you have and wait out, heavy packs, so you got 13 packs, but let's just say you got 10. I'm just going to use a nice even number. You are looking at spending about $700 in order just to scan those packs, currently by their price range. So you're looking at about $700 to scan those particular packs to see if there's a Charizard in there, a first edition Charizard. Now, if you buy a brand new booster box, chances are there probably is a Charizard in one of those packs. We know that. They're not that hard to actually pull because there's sometimes one, if not two, per booster box. I mean, not always one. Typically, chances are pretty good in your favor that you'll have one in a first edition booster box. Chances are you could possibly get two. We've seen two. I know there's been people that said they've got boxes with three. So once again, there is that opportunity to get three of them out of a booster box. If you open up, you may make the decision. But realistically, even that card coming out of a pack is only worth about $2,000. So you've got a lot of money tied up into that pack already, plus the scanning for $700 for 10 of those packs. You're already chewed up a huge chunk of change just to try and find that Charizard. Now the question is can that Charizard get the PSA 10? Now that is the tricky part, and the more tricky part of the whole situation, because the PSA 10 goes for about $229,000, while if you get a PSA 9, it's only $4,500. So there's a huge difference in variation between that 10 and that 9. If you don't get you spend the money, you open the packs, you spend $700 to scan these, and you don't get the 10, you are sitting there looking at about $4,500, which means you've almost washed yourself just doing that whole setup to try and find these things. So overall, it comes down to that cost. There just isn't enough cost in the Pokemon TCG, in my opinion, to make this truly viable at this point in time. Now, this gives us a good feel for futuristically what we could see as prices maybe drop, as more companies get into the game. As things continue to advance, this could change. This whole discussion process of CT scanning Pokemon cards could definitely change. But let's just be taking a look at industrial itself. What are they charging? Well, you're talking about 1 to 5 packs, you're looking at $75. 6 to 10 packs, you're up to $70. And if you go over 11 plus, you're going to be talking about $65. Now, I heard a lot of people talk about chasing the Moonbryons. Just pull Moonbryons all day. Right? That's what we've been hearing, is that if you can use the CT technology, that you can pull Moonbryons all day. But the problem is that you still have to realize how difficult it is to pull a Moonbryon. You're not just going to pull it out of one booster box, right? I've opened probably 10 booster boxes, and just my dumb luck, I have not pulled a Moonbryon yet. So even out of 10, if I would have CT scanned all 10 of those booster boxes, and I'm being very, very kind on this. So if you look at it, and I'm going to say, worst case scenario, I could see them charging a booster box for 18 packs, because you got 18 packs in a row. The slices are the same going through. You're going to be looking at probably scanning through 18 packs of Pokemon packs in order to get in there and see what's inside of that booster box. So you're looking at, if you go with the 18 pack charge, you're looking at $1,170 to actually scan that particular item. And that's if they charge 18 packs. Now, let's just say we're really kind and they go down to 600. Okay, so they're going to charge you $600 to scan that whole booster box, slice by slice through there, to see if there's a Moonbryon. And let's say there's not. You're out $600, right? The booster box ain't even worth $600, and you spent that money inside of there. None of the other alternate arts are going to get back that $600. The only one that's going to do it in Evolving Skies is that Moonbryon. That's it. It's Moonbryon or bust. So if you have to go through and scan one and you get lucky and you hit, yeah, you'll make $300. If you got to scan two, you're done. You scan three, you're completely toast. I mean, that's how quickly that gets dissolved, even with the system that you're looking at. So CT scanning Pokemon cards, to me, still does not have enough value in it to be an issue currently. Now, we can always sit here and have the argument that people could be doing it, people might be doing it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They could be doing it. This could be a scenario that we're running into. Is it very likely? No. I think that it'd be such a small portion that running into it and actually having that issue come forward to you is probably extremely difficult and probably just not going to happen overall. So once again, guys, really think about it when you talk about costs. You know, everybody says $75 doesn't seem like a lot even for a vintage pack. But if you miss, it's the miss, guys. Even we all know, even if you weigh out all the packs, even if you take a booster box out of a case of Evolving Skies right off my shelf and I send it in, the chances of a Moonbryon being in that booster box is very slim. It's a very hard card to pull. It's not going to be that easy to find. So we need to be considering that when you're looking at it. Now, as time goes on, as technology changes, as these CT scanners might become more used in this instance, as more companies maybe come on board going, hey, we can make a little side cash, you know, just like probably the industrial. They probably had some dead space because, you know, economy's a little slower, things are moving a little bit slower, and they found a niche that they could maybe make a little side cash while the machine is not doing anything. But there again, you do have maintenance on that machine. You do have care. You do have energy consumption to run that X-ray machine. There's a lot of things that need to be into consideration while you're actually looking at these things and trying to decide whether or not this is economical to be able to find those chase cards. So currently, now, no. Futuristically, maybe. As more and more come online, that could be a future conversation that we have. I would be more concerned about what I'm seeing with these numbers and what I'm seeing out there currently. I would be more concerned on the sports card side, especially if you're looking at those very high, you know, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 packs of cards that are very hard to find. I think that those ones could be the problems in the future if you're going to buy those packs. Do I think we're going to see that in Pokemon? Not now. I just don't see it. I don't see the reasonings to be putting a lot of worry into it. Let's be honest with you, the number of people that have first edition packs laying around that they're moving through is very slim, and the chances are that they're going to go ahead and CT scan those in order to be able to find that one Charizard in hopes of getting a 10. Yes, it might be worth the gamble for them, and that's absolutely fine. I'm nowhere near a market, and I don't think 90% of this market right now, the people in this market are in the position to be dealing with first edition packs. And futuristically, if I'm looking at buying first edition packs, it's definitely something that I probably keep in the back of my mind. But I would also be more concerned about it if the prices start to fall. If this starts to become like a $10, $15 service per pack, then I'd be a little bit more concerned about that, even like Evolving Skies, because then it becomes more economical to be checking multiple booster boxes, to be sitting there sifting through and trying to find those very good packs that people are looking for, whether it's the alternate art, Leafeon, the Glaceon, whether it's the Umbreon. All those now become in play if you get that price down to a lower price where they can actually afford to do that, and makes it more reasonable to hit more than just the Umbreon. And that's it. Umbreon VMAX or bust is just not going to be a reason for people to really jump in to using CT scanners at this point in time. So once again, more concerned about the sports side. If you're in the sports market, I would be more concerned about this than I would be actually concerning about the actual Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Lucana, any of those industries. I just don't think that there's enough market cap. There's not enough money into it. Even our best cards do not compete high enough comparatively to the sports market when it comes down to price. Once again, though, people do need to have an understanding that that $1,500 machine is not going to cut it unless it's strictly luck. They would be running 100% on luck, catching the right frame, catching the right view of that particular pack or card or booster box. You're not going to be doing it very easily with those, according to the person who does inspection. Those machines just, even the ones that they use for CAT scans on animals and things like that, which it sounds like he said that looks like that where that one came from, is it's like an animal laboratory, you know, CAT scan that they put out because maintenance issues, it probably failed, the main computer went out on it, and they just went, it's time to replace. The problem is, he said, once that main computer goes out, it's just a tumble down. It may work for a little bit. He may get it running for, you know, a few scans. He might get a few hundred scans out of it, and then he's going to have issues again. So it's going to be a continued issue that they're going to continue to see even with that machine. And then the cut rates just aren't tight enough. That Nikon has such a tight cut rate when it goes through and actually does the cutting to see what's internally. It can catch those layers, the layers between there to actually see, like we saw the Hypno, seeing that come across and get that shade across so we could get in between it, between the hollow and that cardboard, so you could see that. But there aren't a lot of CT scanners out there that can do that. They're just not dialed in that fine tune as something like that Nikon that Industrial is using to do this. So another thing to keep in mind, no Joe Schmo is going to be buying these machines. These machines are going to be out there and they're going to be expensive to maintain. They're going to be expensive to run. The energy consumption is pretty high on them. He said they're pretty pricey to run when it comes down to power consumption as well. So if you have a machine that's sitting and you want to charge $70 a pack, he said definitely reasonable for them. That's probably right on consumption and labor costs to set that up and do that. $70, he said, is probably right where we're at right now in the industry. If the industry changes and technology becomes better, he said, who knows, the all bets are off, or maybe they become more efficient on energy. Maybe all bets are off, but overall right now, he said, he wouldn't be concerned unless someone's really got these high-end ones. Someone might get lucky, clip an edge and see something after multiple scans, but the energy costs to do so may not be economical to even make money on finding things in these packs. He said, so I'm going to go by him. I think that he's probably got a pretty good grasp on what units can do what. Am I concerned about the $1,500 machine that the guy spent $5,500 to fix and has spent $7,500 CT scanner? Probably not. I'm not too concerned about him based on what he said. I'd be more concerned about Industrial becoming more affordable, the Nikon units. Other companies jumping into the game because the economy is getting slower, things are moving slower, and they have time, and they're just trying to fill machines. They may put a discount on some of them just to get some throughput. So that's going to be your more technical issues that we're going to see on why pricing will fall. But overall, guys, hopefully it's some good information. Hopefully this gives you a feel on where I am on CT scanning. I'm really not putting much thought into it. I think that it's a cool idea. I think if you got some really high base set first edition packs and you really want a Charizard, take the best chance of getting that PSA 10 and getting them right out of the pack, then yeah, take your shot. See what happens. Definitely potentially a good market at that point. But I think in general, for the average consumer and for most of the modern anything that's, anything pretty much out there right now currently, I just don't see the value in doing that. There's just not enough upside and enough leeway in our market currently to justify the cost. If card prices go crazy again, maybe. If the prices go down, maybe. But I just don't see it. It's just not there yet. I think it's a cool concept. I think it's a futuristic worry, but I just don't think that it's something to be there now. So once again, guys, thank you everybody for joining. If you do like this content, make sure you guys hit that subscribe before you leave. Hopefully I earned that today. Make sure you guys hit that like button before you leave too. It's greatly appreciated. It helps out the channel to keep things moving along. And last but not least, make sure you hit that notify so you know we're doing new stuff here on the channel. We're going to try and continue to do videos. We also do our live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time, and hopefully we'll see you at Collecticons. Other than that, we'll see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.